Hi guys, Phoenix here. In this video I'll be showing you how to use the MSMG Toolkit to remove the bloatware out of Windows 10. So first you want to download the toolkit and the .NET Framework 3.5 from the links in the description below. The reason we want to integrate the .NET Framework 3.5 is because a lot of the drivers and some software also rely on it. So this way you wouldn't be prompted to download it once something you install does need it. So once you download the file, what I want you to do is place it in the root of your C drive, like I did here, the toolkit and the .NET effects. But before you go ahead and unzip the file, sometimes when you download files from the internet, they have like a blocked status because they came from the internet and Windows Smart Screen blah 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 blocks them. And the problem with that, if the original or the actual zip file is blocked, when you extract it, all the files within the zip will also have a blocked status. So what you want to do is right click on the zip file or compressed file, go to properties, and make sure that at the bottom right here underneath the word hidden, you don't have something which says this file came from the internet and it's blocked. If it does have that, you'll have a checkbox saying unblocked, so you hit the checkbox and hit apply, then the file is unblocked, so that all the files within will also have the unblocked or status which they can work with. So what I'm going to do now is extract it. I have WinRAR installed, so I'll don't extract here, but extract to the same folder name. Right, now we can delete that. Next, we're going to grab the NetFX pack and cut it. Go to the toolkit, go to packs, paste it here. And now we're gonna, before we unpack, just make sure it's not blocked. Yeah, it's not blocked. So we have extract here, and there it is. You can delete this file now. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the ISO file that I have, and we want to place them in the DVD folder. So I have it here in D, ISO, Windows 10, and this is the latest Windows 10, the December update from MSDN. We're going to copy that, paste it here. Now you want to right click and extract here, not to the folder name. Alright, now you can delete this file. Now some laptops come pre-installed with Windows 10 Home, and when you run the Windows 10 setup, it will automatically pick up the key from the BIOS and install Windows 10 Home. Well, what if you have a Windows 10 Pro product key that you want to use and you don't want to go through the hassle of upgrading? The only way for you to get a choice of which edition you want to install is to have this ei.cfg file. You just create a notepad and enter the following text in a blank notepad. You can pause the screen here and just type the same text exactly and save it as no extension. Do not put a .txt extension, so it's just ei.cfg. Now what you want to do is cut that or copy that file and paste it in the sources folder. Now because I have a RAID setup on my laptop, I'm going to put the RAID, the IRST or RAID driver in the root of, basically this is what's going to appear on your USB. So if you place this here, that's going to also be copied to your USB or be in the ISO. Just for ease, I'm going to remove the version number, just call it RAID. Alright, so now we're ready to get started. So what I like to do is I like to pull up the MSMG instructions here on the side so that I don't miss any step, and I'd like to open an empty notepad, which you will see what we'll use it for in a few seconds. Now here's a new tip I learned from the developer is, first of all, you want to have UAC enabled, and you don't want to right click and run as admin. I used to always do that. So what you want to do is just right click normally and then click yes to accept, or to run it as admin that way. I don't know, for some reason he says this is better. So let's hit accept, press any key to continue. Right. Now usually you'd start off by just going to number 1, which is the source, and setting it to grab the source from the DVD folder. But what I want to do is you see the ISO which I downloaded has like so many editions, single language, education, blah blah blah. I want to make the task of removing stuff faster, so that we don't have to remove it from all the editions. I'm just gonna keep the editions which I care for. So let's go to number 8, tools, and then Wim Manager, number 1, and then 3, which is delete. And it read that it detected the following versions in my ISO. So I want to get rid of the 1, 2, I want to leave home, I don't care for home, and you get the picture. So let's start by number 1. You're going to hit 1 and hit enter. That's deleted. Press any key to continue, back to 8, 1, 3. Then remove this, number 1 again. That's gone. Again, 8, 1, 3. We're going to leave number 1, which is home. I don't care for home and, so let's get rid of that. Number 2. Eight, 1, 3. And let's get rid of home single language. That's for some regions which have Windows home single language, like in the Middle East or Asia. Get rid of education and education N. Oops. 8, 1, 3. Went too fast there. Okay, and final one we want to get rid of is the Pro N. So we're just gonna end up with 2 editions, Home and Pro. That'll be much faster for us to remove stuff and work with this tool. Right. So now that we remove the editions we want to mount the ISO. So what we're gonna do is go to number 1, source, and then number 1 again, select source from DVD folder, which we just extracted the ISO to. And then it shows us it only detected 2 versions because we removed the other ones. So saying enter which image we want to load, 1 or 2. I want to load them all, so I'm going to hit the press the asterisk key. That'll load all the editions. Then answer yes to both questions. Okay, now the images have been loaded, so let's hit any key to continue. I forgot to say, I like to keep these instruction spaces so that I don't miss any step. So we did number 1, which is load the source. Now number 2 is if you want to integrate any language pack. I don't have a need for that, but that's there. If you want to do it, it's in option number 3 in the toolkit, which is integrate. Next is integrate all features you want except DirectX and .NET Framework 3.5. We want to add those later, it seems. Alright, so let's hit number 3, which is to integrate. As you see here, number 1 is language pack, 2 if you want to integrate any drivers. Let's go to number 3, integrate Windows features. So we're going to skip 1. Here you can add the Windows 7 classical calculator if you want, which is B. I'm not bothered with that. I found this to be a bit buggy, so I'm just going to use the normal Windows 10 calculator. I guess there's nothing really here that I want to add, but just to show you this menu. Let's go back. Next is we want to remove the Windows Store apps that we don't want. So let's go back one more step. Right, number 4, which is my bad. Let's go back to number 3, integrate, and there is something called Windows custom features. So if we go to number 5, what I really care about here is number 7, Windows Photo Viewer Skin. You see, I'm going to remove all the Windows Store apps, or most of them, and that includes the Windows Photos app. The new Windows 10 one is crap, so uh, we'll have the classic Windows Photo Viewer from Windows 7, but I like to add this nice little skin, which gives it a little modern look. So this number 7 here is what's going to do that. That's done. Okay, so now we can start with the removal, number 4. And then hit number 1 to remove default Metro apps. Now here's the thing, it's really easy to get rid of everything by hitting number 4 or number 5. As you can see in the menu on the bottom right, it says 4 is to remove all apps and 5 is to remove all apps except the store, if that's what you want. But the thing is, I want to keep the calculator and sticky notes. So I'm going to have to go and do this manually by removing one by one. And the reason I kept this notepad here is so that I don't forget where I left off. So I'm going to start with number 1, which is A, alarms and clock. Hit A, and you'll see it gets removed really quick from both editions. Hit any key to continue. Go to number 4 again, number 1 to remove default Metro apps, and B, I want to keep B, calculator. Let's get rid of C, so we'll type C, and then I'm going to type C here in my notepad to remind me that that's the last app I removed, and you get the picture. So you keep doing this until you get rid of all the apps that you don't want. I'm going to pause the video here a little bit, continue with the removal to not bore you, keep it short. Right, so I've removed all the apps that I want, and here's the list to help me keep track of what I'm removing, where I stopped. Otherwise, you will forget. Now let's hit number 7 to go back. Next, we're going to want to go to remove Windows components. So let's clear this out. We're going to need a new list now. So go to number 3. Okay, so Microsoft Connect app. I don't know what the fuck that is, so let's get rid of that. Again, 4. And then 3. Next, we're gonna, I want to keep OneDrive because I use it, so if you don't need it, so you can remove it here. Next is telemetry, so C. Right, so we got rid of telemetry. Let's hit 4, 4, 3. Skype, I want to keep desktop file explorer. Obviously want that. Embedded features, we can get rid of that, so F. Again 4, and then 3. So we stopped at F. Next, let's get rid of home group. Speaking of home group, it's a crappy way of sharing files, which Microsoft will get rid of in the next Windows build, Redstone 4. Windows Mixed Reality, that goes away as well. Next, Windows People Experience Host. Windows Quick Assist app, that goes as well. Okay, Windows Take Test app, that's K. Right, so we're done with the basic Windows components, but we do have advanced Windows components. So let's press number 2 on the keyboard, and we have a new menu. Let's see, we want to Flash, Edge, Hyper-V, Internet Explorer. Cortana, we don't need, so let's clear the list, type an E here. Now, Windows Defender, this is up to you if you want to use it or not. It's one of the heaviest antiviruses that I've used. I personally use ESET's Not 32 since many years. Okay, smart screen, I don't need that. Let's go for K. Windows System Restore. Now, in all the years that I've used Windows, when I actually needed to restore my system, this has never worked for me, so I'm just gonna get rid of it, but it's up to you if you want to keep it and take your chances. All it does is create extra writes on your SSD or system, creating a restore point every time you want to install some new app. Let's see if we missed anything. 4 and then 3 and then 2. Yeah, we're done with this. Right, now let's go to the next menu, which is 5, Customize. Now let's press number 3 for Remove Default Metro Apps Association. This is going to get rid of all the Metro Apps associations that we just removed. We're done with this notepad now, we don't need it anymore. Go back to the Customize menu. Number 5 is Apply Tweaks. Disable Cortana app, let's do that, number 1. Then back, Customize. 5 for Apply Tweaks. Disable automatic driver updates through Windows Updates. That's useful. Disable automatic downloading and installing of third-party apps. That will prevent Windows Store from automatically installing random apps and games for you. Enable and set Windows Photo Viewer. Remember, we removed the Windows Photo apps as part of the Windows Store apps that we got rid of. So it's a good idea to enable the classic Windows Photo Viewer, the same one which was in Windows 7. So let's press number 6. Now, enable Fraunhofer MP3 Professional Codec. Why not? Number 7. That's done. And finally, let's press 8 for enable this image cleanup with full reset base. Right. Now, number 6 here in the instructions says integrate Windows updates, but the issue I faced lately with Windows 10 Redstone 3 is when I did integrate the updates after I installed my OS, even though those updates were installed, I still got them offered through Windows updates again. and what's worse that they would fail to install. So I'm just not gonna integrate the updates this time. But if you did want to integrate the updates, this would be the right time to do it. And after that, you would perform a cleanup, which is in number 6, apply and clean up source images. So let's do that. Hit number 1. Now let's go back to number 6. What we want to do is apply and save changes to the source image. So let's press number 2. Alright, so this step is done. Now we want to remount the source again to add the .NET Framework 3.5 and the DirectX. So press 1, select the source from the DVD folder, and then press the asterisk to load both images, Home and Pro. Answer yes to both questions. Right, so the image has been loaded again, or mounted. Now let's add the .NET Framework 3.5 and DirectX. So we're going to go to Integrate, number 3, and then Integrate Windows Features, number 3 again. We're going to start with the .NET Framework, which is A. Now let's go back to the Integrate menu, 3 and 3 again for Windows Features. And we want to integrate DirectX 9. Alright, that's it for this menu. So here, if you've integrated the Windows updates in the previous steps, you want to integrate them again to have the updates apply to the .NET Framework 3.5 that we just installed. So I didn't integrate any updates. I'm going to skip this step here. Let's perform another cleanup. So we're going to go to Apply and clean up source images, which is number 1. Then go back to Apply, and number 2, apply and save changes to source images. Alright, so we're done with almost the 14th step. Now we want to rebuild the source in order for us to decrease the overall size of the ISO, because remember the ISO contained all the 7 editions of Windows 10, and then we removed them, so we want to rebuild the source. I think that would be in number 8. No, I think it's in number 7. It's in number 6, which is apply, so number 6 here. And number 1, rebuild source images. Okay, and the final step is to actually create the ISO. So let's press any key, and you want to go to number 7, which is target. And then hit number 1 to make a DVD ISO image. You can enter any name here. So I'm just going to put Windows 10 x64 or RS3 x64, and then that was a label. Now this is the actual name of the ISO. Label is what's going to appear on the burned or flash disk or DVD. All right, once you're done, hit the X button to perform a cleanup and exit the app. Then hit any key and it's gone. So the ISO would be back in your C toolkit under the ISO folder. That's the ISO we just created. And the size went down from almost 6 gigs to 3.75 after we did the cleanup at the end. Alright guys, hope this was helpful and see you again in the next video.